So in this video, we will learn how to send email to multiple customers for feedback at particular interval. Now suppose guys you are a business owner and you want to ask your customers regarding the feedback for your business, and you also don't want to ask each and every customer once. You want that at a regular interval an email should be sent to couple of your customers for their feedback. Every week, for example, that every week couple of your customers are sharing reviews or feedbacks for your business. Now guys, to completely automate this process, we are going to use Google Sheet and Gmail. So suppose we are having the details of the customer in Google Sheet. So every couple of days or every week guys, we will get the details of the customers from Google Sheet, and using this automation, we will send them an email asking them for the feedback or review of our business. Now how you can set up this automation? To know this, you have to come with me to my screen.
So first of all, we will go to our browser and search for pabbly.com/connect. And after reaching to the landing page of Pabbly Connect, by clicking on sign up free, you can create your free Pabbly Connect account in just 2 minutes. Or if you already have an account, just click on sign in. So I will sign into my own Pabbly Connect account. And after signing in, you will reach to this all apps page of Pabbly. Here just click on access now below Pabbly Connect. After clicking on Access Now, you will reach to Pabbly Connect's dashboard. In this dashboard, just click on Create Workflow and give this workflow a name. So guys, in this video, we are going to create two identical workflows. So let me name my first workflow as Workflow 1. Workflow 1. So just for the reference, we are going to name it Workflow 1 and click on Create. And now we can see that our workflow is open over here. And in this workflow, we have two different windows. First one is trigger window and second one is action window. So triggers and actions are basically those two concepts, those two principles on which this whole automation works on, where the trigger says when this happens and the action says do this. So let's begin with the trigger window. So the idea here is we want to send email to invite our customer to review our business on multiple platforms every 10 days. So I want that every 10 days an email should be sent to two of my customers, only two customers, not three, not four, not five, not six. Just for example, we are taking a number 2. So I want to send the email to a couple of my customers every 10 days. So like for example, let me show you my client list which is present in Google Sheet. So here on Google Sheet, we have a list of all the clients to whom I want to send the email. So this is just a dummy list, a short list. So I want that, for example, today I want to send the email to these two customers, the row number 2 and row number 3. Then after 10 days, I want to send the email to row number 4 and row number 5. Then after 10 days, I want to send the email to row number 6 and row number 7. So just take an example that we want to send the email to two customers every 10 days. You can basically change the number of customers and the time duration as well according to your choice. Now, how we are going to get this? To do so, first we have to ensure that every time our automation workflow which we are going to create, every time this workflow execute, it should only take the data of two customers. And that also we have to ensure that once it gets the data of these two customers, for example, of row number 2 and row number 3, the next time it should get the data of row number 4 and row number 5. So basically to ensure this kind of condition, we are going to use two same workflows. So let's build our first workflow and then we are going to clone it. Now here in this workflow, in trigger window, we are going to start with webhook. So let's search for webhook over here. So webhook by Pabbly. Just select this webhook, and after that, here in webhook URL, you can see that Pabbly Connect gave us a webhook URL. Just copy this webhook URL from here, and here we want to initiate or to set up this workflow, we want to get row number 1 in the response. Now how we are going to do this? Just go to your browser, paste the webhook URL which you have copied. Just enter this question mark over here. Just focus on this guys, just enter this question mark over here in this webhook URL, and after that enter row number equals to 1, and that's it. All we have to do is just do this, paste the webhook URL, enter the question mark and enter row number equals to 1, and just click on enter. And it is showing us that the status message showing us is a success. Now we will go to our Pabbly Connect workflow after doing this, and here we will see a response, and this response you can see this is the response, same response which we have entered in webhook, row number 1. So in this way, to initiate the workflow, we wanted to get the number 1 in the trigger response. So that is it. Now what we want to do first, while the first time this workflow is executed, we want to get the data of row number 2 and 3. So what we will be doing in this number 1, which we will be getting from webhook, we are going to add 1. So 1 plus 1 will be 2, and in the next step, we are going to add 2 number in this response. So 1 plus 2 will be 3. So in this way, we can get the row numbers. Now to add these numbers, we will just scroll down, come to our action window. And here in choose app, we will search for number formatter. So a feature of Pabbly Connect, that is number formatter. Just select it, and in action event from the drop down, we have to select perform math operation. Click on connect. Then it is asking us for the number, that in which number we want to make the addition. What are the numbers in which we want to make the additions? So here we will just click here, and first we have to map the response which we have received from webhook. So just map this number 1 from the webhook responses from the drop down over here. Then just add a comma and then manually add 1 over here. So whatever data we will be receiving from in this webhook response, it will add number 1. It will add 1 value to that response. So 1 plus 1, and then in operations from the drop down, because we want to add these numbers, just select add and click on save and send test request. After clicking on save and send test request, we have received a response and we have received the result as 2. So this is the result. So in this way, we have received this row number 2, the response for row number 2 which we wanted. Now we also wanted to get the row number 3. We wanted to get the data of 2 rows. Now to do so, just scroll up and come to this action step of number formatter, and you can see a clone step button over here. Just click on this clone step button and click on clone now. And this complete step which we have added just now, in which we have added 1 number in our webhook response, this complete step will be cloned over here. And in the second step of cloning, means basically the third step, we just have to change this number 1 to 2. So in this step, we will add 2 to the webhook response. And then everything will be the same. Just click on save and send test request. And this time we have received the response for the 3. So we required the row numbers from which row number we want to get the data from our Google Sheet. And using this method, we have basically received the numbers. Now what we have to do, we have to basically get the data from Google Sheets now. Now we have the range, the numbers for the range. Just click on this plus button, add action step button. And here in choose app, we will search for Google Sheets. Because we have the data of our clients in Google Sheet. Just select Google Sheet, and in action event from the drop down, we have to select get rows. Just select it and click on connect. Select add new connection, and here we have to connect our Google Sheets account with Pabbly Connect. Just click on this connect with Google Sheet button. Select your Google Sheets account, the account in which your Google Sheet with client data is present. Scroll down and click on continue. And that's it. Now we can see that our Google Sheet account gets connected with Pabbly Connect. After this, guys, it is asking us to select the spreadsheet. So in the drop down below, you can see a list of all the spreadsheets which are present in our Google Sheets account can be seen over here. So the sheet in which I have my client details is named as client list. So from the drop down, we will select this spreadsheet named as client list. Then it is asking us this to select the sheet. So in this spreadsheet, you can see there is only one sheet named as sheet 1. So from the drop down below, I will select the sheet named as sheet 1. Then it is asking us for the range, that from this spreadsheet, data of what range we want to get. So for the first time when we are sending this email, we wanted to get the data of only 2 rows. That is, for the first time we want to get the data of row number 2 and 3. So basically our range will be, we will select this data, and this will be our range, A2 colon C3. So what we are going to do, we are going to just copy this range from here, go to Pabbly Connect and paste it over here. But guys, every time this automation workflow will be executed, the range will be changing. So the next time this automation workflow will be executed, we want that the data of row 4 and row 5 should be picked. Then next time this automation is executed, the data of row 6 and row 7 should be picked. So the number of rows, so the row number in this range is a dynamic text. It will be keep on changing. And to get these numbers, we have basically added these number formatter step. By adding the number 1 and number 2 in the webhook response, we have basically received the response 2 and 3. And those are basically our row numbers. So the response which we have received from these number formatters, that is 2 and 3, we are going to map that data over here in this range section. So here in range section, after A and C, we wanted to add this number. So after A, we will add the response of the number formatter which we have received from first response. Basically, after adding what data we have received, we will add that over here after A. And after C, basically we will add what response we have received after adding number 2 in our webhook response. So basically the data in my Google Sheet is from column A to column C. That's why my range is from A to C. But basically if your Google Sheet has more than one column, for example, if you have column data till column H, your client data till column H, and you want to get all of that data in Pabbly Connect. So basically just you have to select this range, this complete data which you want to get. If you want to get the data of till this, just select it and just copy this range from here and replace these numbers with the addition response which we have received from number formatter. And after this, guys, just click on Save and Send Test Request. Now, after clicking on Save and Send Test Request, we can see that we have received a response over here. And in this response, we can see we have received the details of the client of this particular range which we have entered. So the details of the clients of row number 2 and 3 are received. So in row number 2, the name of the client was dummy name and this was the email address. So we'll get back to Pabbly Connect, and here in response, we can see the name of the client, dummy name and email address. We have also received the response of row number 3, that is test name, and this is the email address. And in Pabbly Connect, we can see the same response of client, test name and the email address. So guys, now we have received the data of the client or the customer to whom we want to send from Google Sheets in Pabbly Connect. And we also ensured the count of the customers, number of customers whose data we want to get. We have also ensured that. Now we want to send the email to these customers. For that, we'll just click on this Add Action Step button over here. And here in Choose App, we will search for Gmail. Select Gmail step. And after that, in Action Event from the drop-down, just select Send Email. So I want to send the emails using Gmail. So I'm just connecting my Gmail account. Click on Connect. And select Add New Connection over here. After this, we have to connect our Gmail account from which account the email will be sent. So I will just click on this Connect with Gmail button. Select your Gmail account using which you want to send the email address. Just a second, not this one. Connect with Gmail. Let's select the Gmail account. Just scroll down and click on Continue. And that's it. Now my Gmail account is connected with Pabbly Connect, the same account using which I want to send the emails. Now after this, guys, the next thing it is asking us is the recipient email address. That what is the email address of the person to whom we want to send the email. So the help text below it says multiple email address can be entered as a comma separated list. So if we want to send the email to multiple people, we can add the email address of those multiple people by using the comma. So we have received the details of the customer, details of the client from Google Sheet in Pabbly Connect in the response of Google Sheet step. So from this response, we will be mapping this response of the email address of the both the customers over here in this recipient email address field. That too by adding a comma. And as you all saw, that process of mapping is very simple. Simply click on this field and in the drop down below from the responses of Google Sheet, just select here and then select this email address and map it. Then after that, just add a comma and from the drop down below, select and map the email address of the second customer. So in this way, we have basically mapped the email address of both the customers over here, which we have received from Google Sheet. Now after this, the next thing it asks us is CC, BCC and sender's name. So we don't want to add someone in CC in BCC. So just ignore this. And the next thing it asks us is sender's name. That by what name the email should be sent. So just for an example, I'll take the name as Pabbly. I want to send the email in this video from the name of Pabbly. Then it comes a major part, that is the subject of the email. So what will be the subject line of the email which we are going to send? So I want the subject line to be share your feedback. So this is the subject line which I want. By this subject line, the email should be sent. Then it is asking us reply to email address. So I don't want to get the email replies to some other email address. So I'll just keep it blank. Email content type, we have two different content type. Either I can create an HTML body email or in plain text. So I'm creating a plain text email in this video. You can choose this according to your choice. And it comes the most important field, that is the email content, that what will be the body of the email which we are going to send. So I want my email to start as hello, and after hello I want my body to be okay. So this is the body of the email where I'm saying, greeting the person, hello, you have been a great customer to us. We would like to ask you to share your experience on our Google My Business page. And then we will add the link or the URL of our Google My Business page. So let me just add a dummy URL for now. For example, I'm not adding my Google My Business page, or should I change this to website? So I'm asking the person to share the feedback on my website, and I'll add the link of my website over here. For example, pabbly.com. So if you want, basically you can create any body of your choice, and you can also map or enter the details or the name of the customer over here in this body. The data which we have received from Google Sheets and Pabbly Connect, you from the drop down below, you can basically map that data as well. So this is the link of the website on which I'm asking the review. You can basically add your any social link, for example, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Google My Business, and a link of your choice. So after adding this URL, just let me close this email. Thank you. Regards. Okay, so this is just a simple plain email which I am sending. You can basically modify this email content according to your choice. After this email, it is asking us file name and file attachment. So if we can basically send an email attachment as well. So if you are sending, just enter the link of that attachment in this field and give this attachment, file attachment, a name. So I'm not sending any kind of attachment in this video, so I'm just ignoring it. And then what we will do, we will just click on save and send test request. And we have received a response. This response shows that the email has been sent to both of these customers. The same email body with this subject line is sent to both of these customers. Let's check it. What we are going to do, the Google account which we have connected over here, we are going to check the send box, email send box of that account. Let's go to that Google account, the Gmail account of that person. Just clear this. And yes, guys, here you can see that an email is sent on this with the same account which we have connected in Pabbly Connect in the Gmail account, Gmail step. So this is the same account of Gary Monroe. So in this account, we can see an email has been sent to two of our customers. So this is the email address of both the customer. Same email address, the same data of the customer which we have received from or which we have collected from Google Sheets. The email says, the subject line of the email says, please share your feedback. And the body says, hello, you have been a great customer to us. We would like to ask you to share your experience on our website. So this is the link of the website. Thank you, regards. So in this way, basically you can send email. Now the step of sending email is also done. Most of you must be familiar that how you can send emails using Gmail step or using Gmail in Pabbly Connect. Now after this, guys, we'll get back to our automation workflow. Now after sending this email, we have to ensure that any of the email should not be sent to next 10 days. And exactly after 10 days, the email should be the same email with the same details, same content should be sent to next two customers. Like this time we have picked the data up from row 2 and row 3. And next time we want to get the data from row 4 and row 5. So first what we are going to do, we are going to add a delay in this step or this automation workflow. Just click on this add action step button. And here in choose app, search for delay module, a feature of Pabbly Connect. So using this delay module, we are going to delay this complete automation workflow for 10 days. So I'm taking an example of 10 days because I want to send the email just after 10 days. If you want to send the email to your customers by a gap of 5 days, 2 days, or a week or a month, you can basically select any amount of time in this delay module itself. And that's it. So it is asking us how much delay you want to put in your workflow. So I want to add the delay unit should be days and value should be, for example, 10. And just click on save and send test request. And that's it. After sending the email to our customers, to a couple of our customers, this automation will be delayed for next 10 days. Now, after 10 days, what we have to do? So let's understand in brief that what we did till now so that I can explain you how we are going to move forward. So here, let me minimize all of these steps. Okay. So in the beginning, I told you we are going to use two identical workflows. But the first workflow which we have created, we have selected Webhook by Pabbly in our trigger window. So after that, we have basically selected webbook by Pabbly, the webbook URL which we have received. We have entered that webbook URL in our browser, and we have received, by entering some data, some text manually over here, we have received the response. You just have to do this process once while setting up the automation. After this, we are not going to do this step. After that, using number formatter, we have added number 1 and 2, two values, value 1 and value 2, in this response which we have received from webhook, so that we can get the row number from which we want to get the data in Google Sheet. Then we have received the data from Google Sheet and sent the email. And because we wanted to basically send the next email after 10 days, just for an example, we have added the delay. Now what we are going to do, we have to basically clone this workflow first. So we have this workflow 1, just click on 3 dots in front of it and click on this clone button. And the workflow is cloned. So here in the dashboard, you can see there are two workflows. This is workflow 1 and this is the clone. We are going to open both of these workflows. So I will be opening this clone workflow in a new tab and just open this old workflow which we built in this video over here in the same tab. Okay, so we have opened this workflow. So these are two same identical workflows. Let me rename it to workflow 2. So let's change the name of this workflow to workflow 2. Just click on update and that's it. Now we have two identical workflows. What we want to do, what we will be doing is we have received the row number of the last row from which we have received the data. So row number 3, by after adding number 2 in this value, we have row response of row number 3. So we have row number 3 as the last row from which we have received the data. Now what we will be doing, we will be sending this data to the second workflow, to the webbook URL of second workflow. This is second workflow. We will be sending this data, row number 3, to second workflow, so that when we will receive number 3 over here, in the next two step, in step in second workflow, in step 2 and step 3, we will be adding 1 or 2 values. We will be adding 1 and we will be adding 2. In this way, we will get the next two row numbers from which we have received the data last time. So the response will be row number, by adding 1 or 2, we will be getting row number 4 and row number 5. Now after that, this automation workflow will be continued according to a second workflow. It will get the data from row number 4 and 5 in this workflow. Then it will send the email to the customers whose detail we have in row number 4 and 5. Then again, this automation will be delayed for next 10 days. And then we will send this row number 5 response, which we have received over here, to our first workflow. So in this way, we will be creating the loop between these two workflows. And we will be sharing the last row number whose data we have received from one workflow to another workflow. So that in the next workflow, after 10 days, the data of basically those two rows should be captured, should be received. And after that, we will be sending the last row number whose data we have received to our another workflow, the first workflow. And in this way, this loop will work. Now we know what we want to do, what we want to share, that is this value, this 3. And to where we want to send. We want to send to this responses data to this webbook URL of our first workflow and second workflow. But the question is how? So to send this data, so to send the data from one workflow to another workflow, we will just click on this add action step button at the last step. So this will be the last step of our first workflow. And here we will search for an amazing feature of Pabbly Connect, that is data forwarder. So we will select data forwarder over here. And here in action event from the drop down, select forward webhook or forward custom data. Just select forward custom data. Click on connect. Then it is asking us for the webhook URL. Now guys, we have successfully cloned the workflow, we have built a workflow named as workflow 1 and we have cloned this workflow. So here in workflow 2, we can see in the trigger, we have selected a webhook URL. So we just have to copy this webhook URL from here, go to our first workflow and paste it over here in this webhook URL section. After pasting this webhook URL, we have told this automation workflow, this step, that we want to send data to this webhook URL. Then we will just click on this plus button in front of it. Then the data, the numbers or the text which we have added in this video's trigger while entering this way, by firing a trigger this way, we have added row number and that is 1. So we will be just adding this text row number as it is as we have entered over here. In label section, just add row number as it is. The same spelling, same space, that's it. And here in value section, So guys, now what we are going to do, we are going to map the row number of the last row. The last client to whom we have sent the email, we will get the row number of that client. So here we will map the row number. This is the result 3. So in the third step, after using number formatter, whatever value we got, we will just map it over here. After mapping this data, we want to click on Save and Send Test Request. But first, let's get back to Pabbly Connect through our second workflow, which we have created, and click on this Recapture Webhook Response button, so that we can see that the data is sent successfully or not. So after clicking on Recapture Response, just click on this Save and Send Test Request button. And the response shows that the webhook data is forwarded successfully. Let's go to our second workflow. And yes, here we can see that this is the response, and in our second workflow, we have received the last row number on which we have sent the email to our customer to give us feedback. So in this way, we have received the last row number. Now, according to our workflow which we have built, we will receive this response. Then in the next step, we will add 1 in this response. So the row number 3 was the last row. We will add 4 over here. So we have added 1. Just click on Save and Send Test Request. So we have the value 4. Then in the next step, we will add 2 in this value. Just click on Save and Send Test Request. And we will get the response as 2. So here we have the last row number. Here we have received the row number 5. Then using Google Sheets tab, we will get the details of the customer from these 2 rows. We will just map that data over here. And after that, we will get that response. Just let me map it once again over here. We will get the data from row number 4 to 5 from this range. Just click on Save and Send Test Request. Then after this, you can see that we have received the details of the customer from row number 4 and 5. This is the name, support name, and admin name. We have the details of the customer, these 2 customers. Now we will send email or to these 2 customers email address as well. So in the next step, we have mapped this email address. Just let me remap it. So the remapping process is not mandatory, guys, but just to make things clear, I'm just remapping it over here. Just map this data. Everything will be the same. Just scroll down and click on Save and Send Test Request button. So after 10 days of delay, the last row number whose data we have received, that row number will be sent to this workflow, and then after 10 days, this workflow will be executed, and this workflow will send email to next 2 customers. And after that, this workflow will also get delayed for next 10 days. And after ending of the delay of those 10 days, what we want to do, we want to again send the last row number to our first workflow using the webhook URL. So here, once again, we'll just click on this Add Action Step button, and we will add the Data Forwarder step. Data Forwarder it is, just select it, and an action event from the drop down, once again select Forward Custom Data. Click on Connect, and here this time in webhook URL section of our Data Forwarder step of second workflow, we will add the webhook URL of our first workflow. Just copy this webhook URL from here. So last time while we have created this workflow, while we have started in this video, we have manually entered that data, the row number data in our browser. We have manually entered it using our browser. But this time just copy this webhook URL of first workflow from here, go to Pabbly Connect, and in second workflow, just paste it over here. Then once again click on this plus button. Then once again this row number text should be similar. Just get this data as it is, enter it. And this time, how we have done in our first workflow, the last row number, the response of last row number whose data we have received, will map that data. So this time we will just click on this Save and Send Test Request button. So here in first workflow, let's click on Recapture Webhook Response once. Just click on Yes. It is showing waiting for response, and click on Save and Send Test Request. And it is showing us forwarded successfully. The data is successfully forwarded. We'll go here, and we will see that response is received. So in this way, the automation will be keep on going. So now we have row number 5. In next step, we will add 1 or 2. And next 2 step, we will add 1 and 2 in these numbers. So we will get row number 6 and 7. We will get the data of row number 6 and 7 from Google Sheet, send the email, delay it for 10 days, and after 10 days, we will get the we will send the last row number, that is row number 7, to second workflow, and this loop will keep on going. So in this way, without repeating, you can send the emails to your customer at a regular time interval without repeating or without sending the same email to the same customer again and again. So guys, this is it for today's video. So in this video, we learned that how we can basically create this kind of condition, this kind of situation where we will be sending emails to our clients and customer asking them for feedback. But we want to send the emails on a regular interval and that too without repeating. So you have created these two workflows to do so. So guys, not just these two applications and this use case, you can basically integrate and automate multiple applications and different parts of your business as well. So guys, that is it for today's video. Thank you. So guys, if you want to clone this workflow, if you do not want to create this workflow by yourself, there will be the clone link of both of these workflow in the description box below. By clicking on that link, you can clone this same workflow into your own Pabbly Connect account and use this workflow for free. Just clone this one workflow in your account. After that, just set up that post workflow, clone that post workflow of your account, and that's it. You can use it for free in your own Pabbly Connect account.
If you need any kind of help or have any queries, you can ask them on forum.pabbly.com, and you can check Pabbly Connect's pricing at this link. So if this video was helpful to you, you can like this video, don't forget to share it with others, and to keep getting such content on automation and integration, you can subscribe to Pabbly. Thank you, have a nice day.